gentlemen, to the Dover International Speedway tonight for our presentation of the Friends of Sim Racers Tour Racing League Mountain Dew Dash Series, presented by the Fast Racing League, TDR Racing League, and Fuel Racing Leagues. Tonight, again, we are at Dover for what is Race 1 of Segment 2 for the 2020 season. Tonight, I am joined by Mr. Sean Whitehill and Ricky Collette. How are you guys doing?
I'm doing great. I'm glad to be here. First time commentating a race, so I'm excited.
Doing good, Joe. Excited to be here. Happy to help call this race, and really looking forward to a great day of racing at Dover.
Now, Dover is a track unlike many others. There's a couple unique challenges about the Speedway. Can you guys touch on that a little bit more?
Yeah, Dover itself as a track is a really treacherous kind of place. It's in a sense, it's almost like if you just took Bristol and expanded it 2 times. You go from a half-mile short track to a mile-long track, big concrete racing surface, really steep turns, but it's a really thin line on where you're fast and where you're not. And a lot of the races kind of comes down to how often you can hit your marks, sort of touching on that low line.
Yeah, how often you can hit your marks, and tires is going to be a big thing. I'd say I think the tires will probably wear about midway through run. I think it all depends on how you run it. If you go balls to the wall, you're probably gonna have to probably save more tires than fuel if you want to make it to the end of the fuel run.
Yeah, so what are our fuel runs going to look like this evening?
I'd say about somewhere between 45 to 48 laps. If you're smart with your fuel and if you're smart with your throttle, probably maybe push it to 50. But I don't know if we'll get that kind of a run. It'll be interesting to see. But yeah, about 45 to 48 laps, I'd say.
In tonight's race, it's 100 laps, so if these drivers can push it to that 50, they're only going to have to make one stop, and that would be cutting it really, really close. But in past races at Dover, we have had a lot of problems with cautions. Ricky, can you touch on that as a driver, having either early cautions, late cautions, what that does to you?
Yeah, it's definitely kind of takes you out of the zone almost when you get a lot of cautions, especially early in a race. Is that you spend all this time sort of on prep work and qualifying and all that, and you you're ready to go. You're all set to get rolling, and then you sort of, I guess, get knocked out of the zone a little bit when you get a ton of cautions in succession right at the beginning of the race. It almost kind of feels like you're more vulnerable to screwing up, or sort of so afraid of another caution coming around that you end up being the caution. And on top of that too, Dover is a very treacherous track. This place is brutal with cold tires. It's usually we're going to be doing a fixed setup tonight, so I imagine it's not going to be a huge issue. But you definitely, if the car's loose enough, you feel it, and you're on cold tires here, and you just got really sharp turns. So you're in the sense that you're coming off that bottom lane doing 160, almost 170, and that wall comes up on you quick. And it's either you nail the line or you're plowing off that turn. So when you hit that, it'll just shoot you right back across the end of the field.
Yeah, as we just saw Jeff Dixon bring it to pit road here under happy hour, a lot of drivers, they'll be trying to make sure they can hit all their marks, especially with how tricky Dover's pit road is. What is that like as a driver? It's a very narrow entry, and you have to get down to 35 miles per hour in a relatively short amount of time.
It's a tricky time. You gotta slam, slam on the brakes. Pretty much when you're on the backstretch almost. It's easier when you've done a long run and you get some heat built up in the tires. The car starts to tighten up because uh, early in the run, when the tires are cold, the car's loose. The minute you start going off throttle, that's when the car wants to spin. So if you got to start trying to go off throttle when the car's at its lightest point in the turn, which is the entrance to the turn, it's just a recipe for disaster. So it's a balancing act on where you got to hit your marks to get on pit road, and it varies depending on how long the run's been.
As we were just watching, also the 44 of Michael Murata, he hit the wall off of turn 4. Dover, those outside walls kind of creep up on you. What is your solution to that tight off the corner feel that the car will get throughout a run?
I guess I really just gotta be smart with the throttle. Don't push it. Just gotta be smart with your tires. To make it, not only to make it to the end of the field run, but also to not mow down the wall. Maybe 20, 15, 20 laps in. Uh, just don't, yeah, just don't push it. Just wait. Just let off. Wait till the car catches. Wait till it rotates, and then you can just do what you need to do. But yeah, hopefully not too many guys get into that wall because that'll just mess your whole run up.
Yeah, if there's one thing I've learned at Dover over the years, but by being enrolled in the Brandon Hawkins School of Tire Saving, is that the best way to get around here is whatever way is going to use the least amount of wheel and still get you to that bottom of the turn. So if you can nail that and get the car to rotate without having to crank the wheel too much, then you shouldn't have as much of an issue with becoming plowing tight later in the run.
Yeah, so tonight, as I mentioned at the top of our broadcast, it is the start of segment 2 of the 2020 Dash Series. The Dash Series follows along with the original NASCAR Cup Series schedule. Obviously, that has changed, so our schedule doesn't reflect the changes that will be coming with NASCAR. But we are providing drivers with a chance to race in a relatively short uh, race. 25% of at a lot of these tracks this is under 100 laps, so it's a very good opportunity for drivers to log some laps at tracks, log some laps in the sim, and overall get better. So that's the point of the Dash Series. If you want to join the Dash Series, the best way to do so would be to go to facebook.com and find the Fast Racing League or TDR Racing League. There are groups on Facebook where you can join and inquire about more information about the series. Tonight we have 13 drivers, if I'm not mistaken. Is that correct?
Yeah, say about so. 13 drivers, 100 laps should be interesting.
Should be a very interesting race here. You see, practice is now pretty much over. The track is silent. On the pole for tonight's race, it's going to be Jeff Dixon the second, and 2020 segment 1 winner Matt Watkins will be on his outside. Row 2 consists of Andrew Miller, who won the last time the Dash Series was at Dover in the fall, and Randall Coleman to his outside. On row 3, it'll be the '08 of Greg Lebel and this one of Zach Krastowski. Row 4 sees the '69 of Keith Patton and the 4 of Cody Luke. And then following them in row 5 is the '07 of James Moore and the '66 of our broadcast buddy Alex Gordon. Row 6 has Bill Murnahan in the 3 and Tommy Bordeaux in the '57. And then rounding out your field tonight will be the 44 of Michael Murata, last week's winner from Talladega. Who are your picks tonight, guys?
Well, Joe, I think I'm gonna have to go with Tommy Bordeaux there in the '57. I've done a lot of races with him here at Dover, and this is definitely a track that seems to fit his liking very much. He's always competitive here. He's won a couple of fast races on this concrete, and he just always seems to deliver when they roll up to Delaware here. So I think he's gonna be the one in victory lane at the end of this.
I say I want to go with the outside starter, outside front row starter, Matt Watkins, 3-time winner in segment 1. He's been up there battling for the lead pretty much every week. I don't expect this week to be any different. I expect that see at 15 battling for the lead near the end, if not in the lead near the end.
As you hear the command to start engines, my pick was going to be Tommy Bordeaux just because he was so good, but talking with drivers in the garage today, the number 9 of Randall Coleman, he has been very confident in his ability to go out and win this race and start off segment 2 in the Dash Series with a bang and get that 9 team to victory lane. You see the cars roll off pit road. So again, we will be going for 100 laps this evening, which is a 25%, obviously, of the normal Cup Series length. That's 100 miles around this track. The fuel window, as we have touched on, is 45 to 48 laps. You can see Dover is a very tricky track. It's one where a lot of people call it a self-cleaning track. It'll be interesting to see if we have an early caution. We've had a lot of early cautions in our Dash Series races so far. Last week, a caution on lap 3 took out a lot of good vehicles, and this week we're hoping that that is very different. As you see, the car is rolling through turns 3 and 4. The pace car is off. The 36 of Jeff Dixon will lead them down to the line to start off this race. As you see, the green flag is going to come out a little late here. You saw them roll through the restart zone. And green flag is out. We are underway here at Dover. Be interesting to see if the top or the inside line can get the good run through the corner. It looks like for right now it's going to be the 36 of Dixon pulling ahead of the 15 of Watkins, followed by the 47, 9, and then a battle for 5th between the 1 and 08.
Oh, seems like my monitor has crashed. Hopefully, I can get back. They can get back up and running in a minute.
Yeah, Joe. It looks like I think it looks like the low line's going to be definitely name of the game here for the normal run on track. But I think that will definitely be something to watch as this race goes on. You saw Matt Watkins there, hold his ground on that high line. It's not a bad to be on the restarts, just because again, kind of going back to that whole thing about the cold tires here, the car's loose enough that on restarts, starting on that high line, that whole center lane is tightens the car up just enough, almost like it just hits that sweet spot for a couple laps where you can sort of just throw it into the turn without much care in the world. But again, though, too, you got to take into account your tires sometimes when you hoping that you're not going to wear anything out too early.
Yeah, so I'd like to quickly mention our lap counter. We've kind of got it working here with our broadcast team. It's about a lap behind, so if you just add a lap to that number, it'll get you it'll hopefully get you something accurate. We're going to be coming in to complete lap 4 to start lap 5. Jeff Dixon, he's done pretty good here. A lot of times that 36 car has kind of struggled with having a lot of short run speed, but then having some struggles in the long term over a course of a run. Do you foresee that being an issue for that team tonight?
Well, the way he's running right now, I wouldn't say so. I mean, we were talking about picks of the race at the beginning, and I almost felt bad that we were sort of, shafting the poor guy that was on pole. But Jeff Dixon always comes to these tracks with speed. He's always there up front, if not on the pole. He knows how to. He really does know how to hit marks on the racetrack and get a good lap in. And I think, it's just a matter of it all together. And he's super competitive. And I think if he keeps it up like this, I wouldn't be surprised if we see him up front all day.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm sorry. Yeah, the 36. He's definitely gotten better. But I don't know. It was tough. It was tough picking between the 36, 15, and even the 9. So I don't know. We'll just have to see how things stack up in the end. Also, the 3 car has retired. Pulled his car off the track.
That is unfortunate. The 3 of Bill Murnaham in that Bass Pro Shops Camaro has retired from this event. He'll end up finishing 13th on the day.
I'll tell you right now, Joe, it looks like that 15 car's got a big Cartoon Network logo in his rearview mirror right now. That 47 is tracking him down. Just looks like he's looking for somewhere to get by him, but it looks like he's rotating that corner a lot better at the moment.
Well, that was another guy I felt bad about not mentioning more during pre-race. The 47 of Andrew Miller, he won this race last season, or won at Dover last season in the fall, and did so saving tires, passing the 57 and yours truly to win that event. So it'll be interesting to see if he can kind of do that again, save the tires a little bit, and have that speed at the end of the run. So we complete lap 10.
Tommy Bordeaux making his way through the field. He just passed the 4 of Cody Luke for the 8th position.
Are you seeing that
Yeah,
lending
looks like
tree?
that 4 car. Looks like that 4 car had some transponder issues there. Well, 57 was getting by him. I got a little concerned there because I couldn't tell where he was compared to the 57. I almost thought they were going to be inside of each other for a second. But it looks like he's calmed down now.
And
Also, it looked like the 3 car earlier. He had spun and hit the wall with his left side. He decided to just call it a day, save up his stuff, move on to next week.
as we see a pass for third place, Randall Coleman takes that position away from Andrew Miller. Miller will fall back into fourth and try to maintain that ground. Hopefully, the thought process might be saving those tires because, again, we're getting a pretty good green flag run here at the start of the race.
Yeah, it's definitely it's the hardest thing to do when you're saving tires and especially when you're that close to the front, because you almost have to sort of start conceding positions at some point. You just got to say, okay, yeah, go ahead, go on by. This isn't my fight right now. So it's interesting to see if that's a strategy. It almost looked like he kind of washed it up high, and then Randall got underneath him, and he just had to sort of jump back in line though to catch that line. Zach Krastowski behind him there in the one almost caught him too. I was surprised he didn't get a fender on him before they got to the turn.
As you see, the 9 of Randall Coleman peaks to the inside of the 15. Right now, the battle is for second as the 36 of Dixon has checked out by about 2 car lengths, which is a lot here in this series. Again, with these cars all being fixed setup, they all have the same everything. You know, same spoiler, same motor, same camber, same cast. You know, everything is the same on these cars, similar to the old IROC series, but everything except obviously for the badge on the car. So last week at Talladega, we saw teammates and alliances play a big role. Sean, you can obviously touch on this more because you were in the race, but do you have any teammates here at a track like Dover?
Not as much. Not as much here as a track like Talladega. Draft plays a little bit of a part, but not too much. Obviously, if you have friends out there, hopefully they realize, like, if you got a faster car, they might give you a little bit of break and maybe move out the way for you, and even even vice versa. If you're one of your friends is come up behind you, hopefully they won't move you out of the way. You just just let them go on to their business. But friends is important, definitely at a track like this, but not as much as Talladega or Daytona. Just it all comes to like how many breaks your friends will give you.
You see, it looks like there's a battle right now for fifth. The 08 of Greg Lebel getting to the inside of Krastowski, but Krastowski shuts the door on him going into 3. We see those moves now, but will you get a little easier with, cutting, not necessarily cutting people off, but the willingness to make those quick moves to try to get to the bottom of the speedway?
I almost feel like the later you get in the run, you almost get a little more desperate for it, to be honest. Just because as the car tightens up, you become reliant on that low line. Because as soon as you start washing out a line there, it just wants to go up the track. And it's like when you start having to let off for it, that's when all the trouble begins. I gotta say though, a slight tangent here, but just going back to our discussion beginning of the race here about our picks, I've been looking at lap times of the last 5-10 laps. I'm noticing, if not the first fastest, usually like the second fastest on track right now is at a green 57 there, lurking around back in 7th.
Well, and he had issues going through pre-qualifying inspection that caused him to not be able to take a time on the speedway, so he had to start at the back of the field. It's been very interesting to watch him try to start making moves and move up through this field as he starts to challenge for 6th position.
Yeah, and Joe, I almost think that might have been by design. Sometimes you come to these tracks, especially when you get a smaller field like this, maybe like 13 cars or something like that. Especially with how Dover's such a grab bag in terms of if it's going to be a long run like this or if it's going to be a lot of quick cautions. You almost will sort of do lap and just be like, all right, I'll get up there at my own pace because it's not as hard. See Zach Krastowski in the one there hitting the wall, battling for 6th with Greg Lebel. Oh, beg my pardon, that was 5th.
As it looks like he'll probably lose 2 positions here, as we just talked about the 57.
He might lose 3. The 66 if Alex Gordon is coming.
Well, it can't help that one car having that right side damage now on that right front fender. It's going to really hurt the aero. Where we don't think of Dover as an aero track, it can be very important. It's going to be very important as the run goes on and these cars start to get tight with the older tires.
Yeah, anytime you got any kind of like fender damage, it's At some tracks, it's not as big of a deal. You know, on some more draft-intensive tracks, you can sort of fight against it. But somewhere like this, where handling is going to be such a big factor, you just want to make sure you're not hitting the wall too much. And honestly, right now, it doesn't look like his car's too bad. The more you bang it up, the worse the arrow is going to get on that car, and the tighter it's going to be. Just making more trouble for yourself later in the run. Alex Gordon looks like he's lurking around the inside of Zach Kostowski there to take that 7th spot.
Almost made contact off it too.
Now, and this all goes back to how much are you willing to push this car? We're a quarter of the way through this race already in a relatively short amount of time. We're going to be coming up on green flag pit stops, and we talked about how difficult that was. Do you see these guys maybe starting to give each other more room to prepare for those pit stops?
I would. Getting on the pit road's not easy. Hopefully these guys will give each other a little more room than they are right now when it comes to that time. Because as Ricky pointed out during pre-race, it is really, really tough to get down pit road here. It's not like any other track. You pretty much have to start slowing up in the backstretch, if not like turn 3 or something.
Speaking of pit stops, we got a very early one here. The 07 of James Moore. He seemed to sort of lose the lead pack pretty early there, coming down for tires right now. Looks like might be doing a strategy play to get some fresh rubber on that thing for the moment.
As we had some technical issues with our cameras here, we're going to try to restore our video feed, but continue to talk us through the race like it's a radio broadcast, guys.
Yeah, let's right now Jeff Dixon's still holding a about 2 car length lead there on the 15 of Matt Watkins. It looks like Greg Lebel is actually going up high in turn 4 here. Tommy Bordeaux is going to the inside of him. I don't know if that's by design or if Lebel just took the turn. Actually, Greg Lebel goes up high again, turn 1. It actually looks like Lebel might be trying to experiment with that Heinlein there, see if he can make anything work with it.
It didn't quite work there, but it's an interesting move to see maybe if the Highline can be some kind of advantage. Maybe not a speed advantage, but possibly a tire cooling strategy.
Oh, absolutely. This is the best time to do it too. Early in the run, you know, he's in 6 right now. He's in a pretty good position here, but you know, Alex Gordon behind him has got some distance. Tommy was really the only person racing him for the moment. You know, if there's a time to experiment, now is the time to do it. You got a little wiggle room to lose some time if you really need to, and you know, the benefit to it is learning something new that might help you out. Looks like we still got the 07 slow on the apron here. I don't know if he just came back down pit road, but he's about 4 laps down right now.
Yeah, the 07 just came back down pit road. Looked like he might have had a penalty. It was stopped in his pit box for a quick second and returned.
I thought he was about to come back down pit road for a 3rd time. It's been about 120 down the backstretch there. There's a moment with the 07 going 5 laps down there. Looks like the next lap car in position is Mikey Murata, the 44. He's coming out of turn 2 right now, which, you know, they still got a ways away. But they might not actually catch him within the next 10 laps by the time we do pit stops. But this is definitely a place that, as it spreads out, lap traffic becomes a big deal as well. That you really need to make sure you're communicating with these guys as you catch them, that they're going where you need them to go so that you're not jeopardizing your run.
As we've restored our video feed. I'd like to apologize for that. We had some technical issues in the truck. We've also had to do away with the lap counter that we had going due to those technical issues. So we've updated the bottom of the screen. You can see the lap count towards the bottom left corner of your screen.
Watkins is catching the 36 a little bit.
Yeah, it looks like he's starting to, that 15 starting to come alive here later in the run. The last lap by Jeff Dixon ran at 22.787. Matt Watkins ran at 22.716, which, you know, that's 700ths of a second. Actually almost sounded like Jeff Dixon was clutching it going into the turn there.
Oh, Watkins was too.
Oh, they might be doing a strategy run there. They might be trying to make this a one-stop race. Yeah. Which you can do that here. The beauty of a 1 mile track in NR is that, you know, it's a lot more forgiving in terms of saving fuel. If you're clutching it and you're taking it easy with your car, you can save a lot more than you think. You know, usually at least you can usually bump it up by maybe a quarter of a can worth of gas saved in your tank by clutching it and sort of trying to preserve your fuel. They must be right on the line though if they're clutching it right now.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if Dixon's clutching, but Watkins is definitely clutching.
Yeah, I didn't know which one it was. I saw him going to the turn, and I just heard the engine go off and see either one dip. Usually that's a giveaway, is that you'll see the car kind of sink into the ground more than usual because there's no force on the motor. It looks like the 15's doing it right now, actually, so he might be clutching it, trying to save fuel. Because Randall Coleman's coming up on him quick there.
And you also could think about maybe some of these guys, they're saving that fuel so that way they only have to make one stop, save a little fuel now, save a little fuel on that second run of the race, make sure you can make it to the end. Maybe a guy like Randall has already saved enough fuel from the start of the run because he wasn't running as hard at the start.
Yeah, and that goes back to what I said about conceding positions early on. That he could really, some of these guys really could be out there just sort of nurturing their stuff, not really, 13 cars out there. If you got the ability to run top 5 lap times, then just sort of take it easy, let guys by, and sort of just nurture your car while keeping a position close enough to that leader that you're not letting them get out of your sight. You can really play the long con here when you start racing like that, and you got an edge on everyone. Looks like Michael Murata passed Cody Luke for the 10th position to get into the top 10 here. Over in turn 2.
I'd like to take another second to apologize. It appears that the ticker at the top of our screen is not relaying accurate information. It appears we lost contact with the server for the timing and scoring, so we'll try to keep you updated on the positions. But Jeff Dixon is still your leader, followed by Matt Watkins, Randall Coleman, and Andrew Miller.
Yo, it is, Joe. It's that dang pedestrian bridge on the backstretch always blocks the transponder signal when the cars go under that.
Of all the tracks that we could have issues, of course Dover. There's one of these random tracks that we go to. You see Matt Watkins starting to close in on the 36 of Jeff Dixon. We're getting close to those stops. That 15 looks like he's put the pedal back to the metal. Try to close this gap down and maybe put some more pressure on the 36 to run a little bit harder and not save as much fuel.
Yeah, Joe, I'm looking back here. It almost looked like Randall Coleman caught James Moore in the 07. And then, because they were side by side going down the backstretch, it almost seemed like Randall just gave up on it just to let him go, like he's trying to save his stuff. Because, Moore's got 30, 40 lap fresher tires, but they were running pretty even. And then Randall just sort of checked out on Randall on a straightaway. So I'm wondering if that was by design or just the tire difference.
I'd say probably by design. You don't, at this point, you don't really want to run side by side, especially with a car that's multiple laps down, and plus has much fresher tires. Just let him go on his way, and just try to preserve stuff. What's the rest of your stuff as much as you can.
When we're seeing this 07, he's really closing in on our 2 leaders. It's going to be interesting to see if they let him by or they pit here before he gets a chance to make a move on them.
Yeah, that's a really tricky part about this, is that in the 07's position, because he has such fresher tires, he's going to smoke these guys. He's doing like a second lap faster than them in some of these cases. And it goes back to that courtesy thing. If I'm in the 07, my first thought right now is it worth it to go racing these guys? If you can't get by them quickly at this point, it might just be worth it to wait for them to go down pit road and then start logging laps. Oh, the 36. Oh, my goodness.
Very
Jeff
dangerous
Dixon.
pit stop there.
Oh, he took a gamble on that. He just slammed on the brakes. Be interested to see if he made pit speed. I think he did.
66 is also in pit road too.
36 and 66 both on pit road here to hopefully make their only pit stop of the race. They're going to obviously try to stretch it to the end if we don't get a caution.
Before Cody Luke just made onto pit road there. The other thing, you see that smoke flying when these guys start coming down pit road. They're locking it up trying to get in. Ryan Bordeaux actually has a pretty clean entry there. Sent it cooking in, but it looks like they all make it nice and clean.
Well, and still are.
in pit road right now.
So looks like the 15 is going to be coming this time, and I would assume the 9 will be coming. No, maybe not. The 15 is going to stay out another lap, save some more fuel, but the 9 is coming in this time.
Yeah, this might be short-term loss, long-term gain here for the 15. If he stays out, he's going to lose time to Jeff Dixon here as Dixon gets back on the track, but he can run a few extra laps, and he's got a little more assurance, and as the tires wear, even a few laps of benefit is going to be a big factor.
Oh, he locks him up. He
just
made
made
it, but
Oh
I
my
hope he
goodness.
barely clipped that cone. There, coming to
I
pit
Oh.
thought,
road.
I thought the end of that pit wall had his name written all over it.
Yeah.
That was,
You know what
that was real scary.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, it just locked down. You can see the rear end just start coming out from under it, and he's got to correct it. It's amazing. He was doing like 32 when he hit the line. He definitely wasn't speeding, but ugh.
As we'll take another look at that from his onboard, off of the roof of this vehicle. So he just sounds like he locks the tires up, the car goes right, and he just manages to get it back left there before, and then makes it down to that pit road speed. So it'll be interesting to see if he loses any time because of that.
Yeah, I don't actually know if him getting that loose was because of the tires locking up, or if that was him overcorrecting, trying to like yank the car down to pit road.
Oh, we got trouble in turn 1. The 4 and the 07 has made contact, and we have a caution.
Oh, they are coming quick. All right, 7's down on the grass.
Yeah, everyone...
47, 66, and a 9 just get barreling in there.
Well, and this puts everyone in the window to make it to the end of the race here if they just take a quick pit stop. We took a quick look at that pit stop. Amazing save by the 15, and now it looks like everyone else is going to get saved by this caution to try to make it to the end of this race.
Yeah, looks like...
Right, the 4 got loose. Oh, yep. Going into the corner, he starts sliding, and poor James Moore just nowhere to go.
Trying to figure out where the scoring has everyone right now. It almost looks like the 15's going to stay in second, which would be quite a feat if he didn't lose any ground there.
Yeah, the 4 just, he lost it, and the 07 was just following him, and that's all she wrote.
I've seen that one too many times at Dover. I've done it many a time myself. It's that dreaded, he just came off pit road. He got those cold tires, and the car is just free, and anything that's gonna lighten up that rear end is gonna send it spinning. So if you're on cold tires, if you go into that turn wrong, and if you let up much, the car will just over rotate, and it's just because of the banking of the track and just how the tires grip up. It's just no saving it. You just whip around and hope that you hit the wall side first so that you don't get too much damage. In this case, he wasn't so fortunate.
As we're pacing here on lap 54, I'm assuming we're going to see most of these guys come back down pit road. Maybe that 15 stays out since he was just getting off, but all these guys are going to come get some fresh tires. They probably used them up a little too much, more than the crew chief's liking. Is there any disadvantage to staying out, really, if you're the 15 car?
I mean, I don't even know how many laps he did. It looks like Alex Gordon's going to stay out with him. Alex Gordon, another huge gainer on that. He jumped up to third position right before that caution came out.
Yeah.
It's going to be interesting because he's got like a lap or two, I think, right, Sean?
He pitted about a lap before second car started coming in, which would be I think would be the 36. As I was about to say, you know who this caution really did help is the guy sitting in second place. He pitted early. He got some track position while everybody else is pitting, and he's in second place.
Look at that! Not even in the booth, and he's giving tips to this on how to win this race.
Dover is one of Alex Gordon's favorite tracks on the circuit.
I believe it's home track too, ain't it?
Yep. Pride of Maryland.
You gotta love your home.
Looks like Jeff Dixon won that race off pit road. It's going to be interesting with Andrew Miller right behind him. So it's going to be interesting to see with double foul restarts how these guys navigate Gordon and Watkins if they can pass them, because that still raises a question on if they're going to be fast enough. I would imagine early in the run that's not going to do them too. Oh, Alex Gordon goes down pit road.
He might have been waiting to try to maybe start towards the back, thinking that there's going to be some chaos coming here.
Yeah, we're giving us tips now on how to play it safe.
Well, again, I'd like to apologize for our graphics overlays tonight. We had some issues in the truck out back on the backstretch because of those pesky pedestrian bridges that aren't even in use this weekend as we practice social distancing during the coronavirus pandemic. As you see, the lights are out on the pace car. We'll be coming back to the green flag here as we're going to complete lap 56 and go on to lap 57 for our boy Tommy Bordeaux.
Yeah, it's gonna be, like I said, it's gonna be interesting to see how these guys. Randall Coleman got to leapfrog Gordon there to get up to that 4th position, so we'll see. We'll see how these guys handle it. Watkins might even do better a little bit early on with the worn-in tires.
It will be interesting to see. The Chevy Camaro pace car pulls off down to the pit road. We'll see if Watkins' new tires are better than the 36's new tires. The cars come through turns 4, and we wait, and green flag's back out. We are back underway here at Dover. The cars barrel into turns 1 and 2. We saw, looks like the 08's having some issues back there. He's a little shaky.
Looks like Watkins keeps that lead here, but Dixon's definitely throwing it in up top. Looks like he's going to concede and try hitting that bottom line. You don't want Jeff Dixon behind you right now. He's been. I was watching him in practice, and this far into the race, I would say he's been putting together a really good race. He knows how to hit that low line to get a fast lap, and I think as Watkins' car tightens up, he's going to strike if that 47 doesn't get to him first.
Well, it'll be interesting to see if the 15 of Watkins was kind of saving his stuff that first run. We talked about saving the fuel. He did go the farthest on that original tank, so I wonder if maybe he wasn't showing all his cards throughout that first run.
Could be. Got a battle for the 7th position. Alex Gordon, big 7th away from Michael Murata. Michael's about to possibly lose another position to Keith Patton.
Keith Patton in that 69 car making a nice pass on the 44.
It was a nice pass.
Yeah, Sean, we were talking about pit strategy early on in this race. When Alex Gordon there came down pit road on the last lap before we went to 1 to go, could that have been a strategy play to just extra security on fuel? We were about 46 laps there, so... Or 56 laps there. My apologies.
So. I'd say probably extra. Yeah, just topping off, and I didn't see if he took tires or not. If he did, that adds some just a little bit more fresher rubber than some of these guys who did not come down that last lap.
I believe he did take tires.
So yeah, that could add up. That could add up by the end of this race.
Him and the 07 and James Moore were the only ones on pit road. So in that case, I would imagine just like, get the tires. No reason not to at that point. But I believe I did see the jack up on it.
Well, and I'm telling you, these guys, as we get closer to the end of this race, they're going to start making some aggressive moves, and probably we will see another yellow.
It's going to get interesting because, like we said at the beginning of the race, that bottom line is money. You really want to be going for that. So these guys, as they start racing harder and harder, what they're going to have to do is almost, you try to race everyone respectively, but some of these guys might almost have to try dive bombing it a little bit just to sort of, send that message to the guy in front of you to be like, hey, I'm here, sort of get them out of the groove, because otherwise you'd have to make your battle on the high line. I just don't know if you'd be able to get that run up there.
Speaking of getting in, the 66 is when we entering turn 3, got in a little harder than the 1 car did. So 66 might be ready to go.
Yeah, it looks like Alex Gordon is definitely starting to make his pace here to come back up. That the lap times coming back by here. Yeah, they look all pretty equal, but Alex Gordon is one of 2 guys in the 21.8s right now, so definitely plugging away. I think we're going to see him keep marching up there if no one's saving tires right now.
Entering turn 1, he was right on Krastowski's bumper. Well, Krastowski
cuts the inside.
High. He might get him. No.
Well, that 1 car has done a really good job of keeping the momentum on that high side to be able to cut to the bottom there, the next corner. Looks like the 66 is going to have a little bit of a better run here down to 3 and 4. He's going to show his nose to the bottom, but the 1 car again starts to try to cut that run off.
Yeah, and he does it. That's a beauty too, is that like that low line's where you want to be, but how you enter it sort of can vary from person to person. Really, all you're trying to do is get your left side tires right down that low line. We go up to the leaders here. You see Matt Watkins leading right now. You can almost see him, Jeff, and Andrew Miller, Randall Coleman. They're all doing it right now. Is that they arc it into the turn. They let those left sides sort of just touch right at the bottom of that where the track's rubbered in, right around where the cars will start to rotate through the turn, and that gives them a huge drive off. And looks like Gordon and Krastowski have two very different ways of thinking on how to set that up, and it looks like it's working for both of them because the one car is still holding off the 66 here.
Oh,
He's getting
he is
really close. He's on his bumper.
He is letting them know he is there.
He is not happy with some of these runs.
Oh, he's gonna get it right here. He's got that fender and he got Krastowski out of the line.
No, the one car gets that run off the outside.
Oh!
We have a fantastic battle for the 6th position here.
Yeah, man. If you're Alex Gordon right now, you're just like, let me by. This is the part you got to be careful on too. Is when you catch up on someone that you know you're putting faster laps down compared to, is that you just making sure that you don't wreck them and you don't wreck yourself and you don't get ahead of yourself and burn out your stuff trying to like fight this battle. Because the toughest thing about over is that you're waiting on people to make a mistake. When you're getting down to the nitty gritty like this, or about 30 laps to go, 29 laps to go here. And like you don't really have a ton of time to wait.
And this is a frustrating part too. You know you're faster than somebody.
The 07 or more.
Fuck. We got trouble in the.
He got into Alex Gordon. Oh my goodness.
Big damage.
Oh no. Oh goodness. I saw the 07 there right. Oh, we got a wreck. Jack Dixon's right up front.
Big wreck.
Jack Krastowski's in it.
Leader.
Oh my goodness, what happened there?
We'll try to get you guys a replay here. It sounds like there's a lot of action down on the Speedway. I told you we were going to get another caution. I told you.
And just to pile on there, Joe, they're coming down pit road. Top 4 are, whoever's left. My goodness.
Wow, holy.
Yeah, as we watch the replay, the 07 is down on the apron, comes off the apron, just swerves up in front of traffic, and then comes back up, and 66 just has nowhere to go. Just runs into the 07 car, and that brings out our caution here.
It almost looks like that 07, looks like he was trying to go down pit road. He's bringing it in way too hot. He's doing like 130 here. He's doing 115 on the apron of the track here, and you really can't do that at Dover. So I think he just was trying to get down and overcooked it, trying to do it quickly.
Well, and I think what happened.
Track in front of the 36.
I think what happened is he was coming off a pit road and he was trying to stay out of the leader's way. You see the 36 there. 36 and the 1 both spin, but the 36, I think he barely clips the 08, and that's what really sends him back out into that outside wall. Tough break for a lot of these drivers.
Yeah, that 36 doesn't look too bad, but you got to feel for Jeff Dixon there. There was nothing he could do. He made a really good avoidance there, because that 07, like if 1 second slower reaction time on that, and he was toast. But there was nothing he could do coming back down. Greg Lebel was trying to get through that as well. I think Dixon's car was over rotating too, trying to save it.
Yeah, we'll go on board with Greg Lebel here. You see the 07 come up the track, and then you're going to kind of feel the 36 hit him there. That's what sends him back up into the outside wall. So we got this late caution now. How as a driver, are you kind of resetting your mind to kind of make a run to the finish here?
Well, I think there's two completely different mindsets when you go up front here. If you're Matt Watkins, I'm sure he's probably like, a little bit on cloud 9 right now with how good he's been running. Almost like, yeah, if I can get the lead, I can just take off from these guys. I wouldn't be surprised. Even with only 25 to go here, maybe he's a little more collected. But I bet you Randall Coleman up there in top lane, he's probably zeroing in, his eyes dilating and his pulse going up. Like he's gonna go full out on this to see if he can give the 15 a run for his money.
Well, the thing that'll be interesting to see is we saw the 15 and the 36. They were really the two cars that we felt like had the best chance to win this race throughout its running. But now you see the 15 still there, but now the 9 is here, the 08 and the 47. They're all going to be bunched back up for a short run here to the finish.
Yeah, it's almost like an unspoken rule of fast TDR sim racing is they don't rule out Randall Coleman because
Yes.
he's always up there. We kind of he wasn't on. None of us were like, yeah, we're gonna take this guy for the win. Randall Coleman knows his way around a track. He's always up there, so it's like he's always a threat, and I could I could really see this being a tight battle for the win here if he can get any kind of advantage on Watkins.
Randall Coleman, he definitely does know his way around Dover. He's a two-time Fast Under Armour Cup Series winner at Dover, and this could be go time for Mr. Coleman.
They we'll say keep an eye out near the back there, that 36 and that 66, because it looks like they're all repaired and they might be. If I'm that 36, I'm driving a little angry right now.
As you see, we'll
Yeah,
go
I
to
would not be. I would not want to be in front of that 36.
we'll go to a different replay set out right here, just so we can provide you with the most up-to-date information. Here on lap 76 of 100, about to go to lap 77. See, the green flag is back out. We are back underway here at Dover.
Like Watkins gets to leg it out here, and Greg Lebel makes a really big jump on Randall Coleman for that second spot.
A really good restart on the sideline for Walkins and Lebel.
Lebel, oh wow, Lebel really rotated the middle of that corner beautifully. He just got right up on Watkins' bumper. It'll be interesting to see if he can pull that pass off now he's in position. But 15 might have a little bit of a run for his money here. Oh, Micro Murata gets into the wall just a little bit off of turn 2. Looks like everyone's all right.
There's a lot of racing back here for the fifth position now. You see the one is Zach Krastowski. He's cleared everyone for fourth. 36 now getting in front of the 44, but the 44 still was outside for fifth. 44 goes way wide. Sorry.
Oh man, he got close at 47 there. I got scared that they're going to go 3 wide. It's going to be interesting to see what this 36 does when he gets if he gets to the 1 car. Actually, it's more of a question of when, not if, right now with how that 36 is running. You know, Alex Gordon had his own way of getting Zach Krastowski for that position, but it'll be interesting to see how Jeff Dixon does it.
Got a battle for 6th position. Michael
Green
Murata
57
takes
there.
away from Tommy Bordeaux.
Oh man, they are ever so close there.
They are racing.
Oh,
47 and the 57 getting really close there through the center of the corner.
Oh, that's maximum clutch when you come to Dover. When you see someone like that close to someone else's quarter panel, because one little touch, one little mistake, and you're sending someone backwards into the wall.
All it takes.
Really looks like Lebel has not let Matt Watkins go away here, and Randall Coleman's just been tracking him down likewise. Looks like just a matter of if Lebel can find an opening. From running 21.7s this whole run, his fastest lap is a 21.743. He just ran a 21.762, so he's hooked up.
Well, if I know anything about Randall Coleman, he's gonna wait for these two to make contact and just make the veteran move and just kind of let these two sort it out between them, and then make his move to try to win the race.
It looks like that time by Matt Watkins again, fastest guy in those top 3. But you know who was faster than him? Zach Krastowski there in 4th. 21.728. Krastowski's fastest lap of the race. So these guys are really leaning on it now. No one's saving.
What's really interesting is that on that lap, that previous lap, not only Krastowski hit his fastest lap of the race, but guy right behind him, Jeff Dixon, just hit his fastest lap with his 21.733.
As we say that, Alex Gordon just put down a 21.654 all the way back here in 9. So that 66 is still got some juice under it.
21.6. Yeah, these guys, they know it's go time. We've got 16 laps to go right now. It is go time for these guys.
It almost seems like a game of back and forth.
Bordeaux by Michael Murata for the 7th position.
Now
Looks at 47. Andrew Miller is trying to make that same pass. Got Mikey up high, and it's going to be tight coming off the turn here. You see him get close to the wall. That 47 is just going to whoop on by. Oh, actually.
Well, not yet.
Maybe not.
Not yet. Wait till you get to the middle of the corner here. There he goes.
There he goes.
So now see the 66 is going to try to get to the inside, but he won't be able to get the run off. So everyone back here is stabilizing. We'll go back to our leaders. Currently is Matt Watkins in the lead, followed by Greg Lebel and Randall Coleman with the 1 and the 36 of Zach Krastowski and Jeff Dixon respectively closing in. We're getting down to it. Do Do you guys see a caution in our future?
It's 50-50. We don't got a ton of cars on track, but it all varies on how hard these guys race. Greg Lebel is right on the 15's bumper right now. It'll be interesting to see how he races them, see if we can get by him. If we're going to see a caution, it's going to be amongst this like front cluster of 6, I think. But if not, I wouldn't be surprised if we see this go to the end as Jeff Dixon sizes up Zach Krasowski for a pass.
Well, we've seen Zach Krasowski has been very difficult to pass. We saw the 66 having troubles throughout the race, and looks like he'll keep the 36 at bay for now.
You know, at Dover, you're really running a line that just makes you comfortable, and I'm sure that's what Zach's doing right now, but it's almost a little insidious what he's doing. Like, just like a little bit, you know, he's being a bit of a mastermind here. That he's running that a little bit higher up on the track than everyone else, which is helping him diamond the corner. But at the same time, he's kind of throwing a wrench in anyone's plan when they come up behind him because they don't have, you know, they don't have enough room to get under him. They just can get
36, he
over.
moved him. He moved him.
Oh, Randall Coleman going for Greg Lebel for second.
We got 2 battles here for position.
Oh, Lebel's going to be up high. Coleman's going to rotate through, and they're going to be side by side going on a straightaway here. Matt Watkins loves to see this. Tommy Bordeaux's coming into that fight back there.
So we have 2 battles for position here. I see them coming off the corner.
It looked like Krastowski, like he overcooked 1 and 2, and that was
57 hit the apron.
Yo, guys, I'm totally surprised that 08 of Greg Lebel is really holding that high line. It's working for him. I guess that testing it out earlier, maybe he did find something that he liked because he's been holding even with Randall Coleman. I think Randall's going to make the pass here as Jeff Dixon gets behind him because of a low wind. But holding up a very good fight. I did not think he was going to be able to hold that fast lap, taking that line around the track, but he's doing it.
What's not working for is Krastowski. He's about to lose, and he just did lose another position to Alex Gordon for 7th.
Could he have overcooked those tires trying to hold on to the position on that high line?
Oh, absolutely. I don't. Well, I wouldn't say on the high line, but I think he did overcook his tires with all the guys that were leaning on him. Sometimes that happens too. You kind of get out of your groove when guys start coming down on you, especially this late in the race, because you really can't give anyone an edge.
As we're now at 6 laps remaining. No, 7 laps remaining. I can't count.
You know, I believe we didn't hear a word from TWB, Joe.
We missed TWB. Like I said, our whole graphics package decided to fail on us this evening. But TWB is obviously a very breaking edge company, providing stuff and things to numerous businesses throughout the internet.
Well, speaking of TWB, Tommy Bordeaux just leapfrogged Greg Lebel for position there.
Could you tell I didn't have an ad read ready?
That's right. Blame the passenger bridge. I just keep blaming the passenger bridge.
It's the passenger bridge, man. These fans, they shouldn't even be here. They're not practicing social distancing. As you see, we're at 5.
Coleman's hanging with Matt Watkins. I don't know if he's got to track him down. It looks like Watkins is holding a couple hundredths faster than him. He's got to catch him before Jeff Dixon does. Because if Dixon catches Coleman here, I don't know if anyone's going to be able to catch Watkins.
Well, I think Coleman's going to have to try to make a bump and run move here. I think he might have to send it a little extra into a corner if he can get just close enough, because we've seen it's been very hard to pass throughout this event.
Yeah, what you saw earlier with Jeff Dixon, what he did with Zach Krastowski, that's actually where you probably want to do a bump and run, is coming off the turn. You don't want to do it going into the turn. If you do it going into the turn, that's where the car spins out. That's where the rear end's the light is. You want to do it when the car's planted in the track and it's going to move them out of the way, but not spin them out. It's a tough move to pull off, and it's very catastrophic if you mess it up. So that's why you don't see it a whole ton over here. But if him or Coleman catch the 15, it does make you wonder if they're going to try it.
He's going to have to try something, because he wants to start off his season in a very good way. All of these drivers want to start off the season in the right way with a victory here at Dover. We're at about a lap and a half to go, our second to last time through 3 and 4.
It looks like Coleman got lower down than that 15. Matt Watkins, will be interesting to see if he carries a run going down the straightaway here. It looks like he does a little bit.
So the white flag is out here through 1 and 2. The 15's got about 2 car lengths on the 9. Be interesting, can the 9 make a run down the backstretch? Does not look like he'll be able to do so. The 36 on the bumper of the 9. The 15 takes a higher, more conservative approach through 3 and 4, and coming off of 4, Matt Watkins will continue his dominance in the Mountain Dew Dash Series.
And no caution the whole rest of the way.
Man, I just wanted a little bit of chaos.
Almost got it. That was a pretty tight race in there for first and for fifth and all over the place.
That was some fantastic racing at the end. You see the 9 of Randall Coleman congratulating the 15 of Matt Watkins.
Absolutely. Looks like Greg Lebel is going to come over and give him likewise.
Well, kind of did. Anyways, you see Matt Watkins, he's going to burn it down here on the front straightaway. Give the fans a show here at the end. Or maybe
Looks
not.
like he's going somewhere. I don't know where he's going.
Well,
Matt Watkins is going to nowhere land.
He just wants to make sure it is lap 100.
Yeah, if you just keep walking laps, and eventually you go around one more time. The crew chief goes, "All right, come on in." You're done.
now I wanted to see him try to make it on a pit road without almost spinning out. That would have been an interesting sight to see as he now burns the tires down. We'd like to. Go ahead.
Oh yeah, sorry. I just want to say we want to talk about moving the race here. Let's talk about Matt Watkins somehow saving that car coming onto pit road, because that probably that could have broken his entire race right there, and somehow that all played out perfect for him.
As you see, he burns it down. I'd like to thank everyone for joining JTN tonight for the Fast Mountain Dew Dash Series presented by the Fast Racing League, TDR Racing League, and Fuel Racing League. I'd also like to thank you to Sean Whitehill and Ricky Collette for joining me in this booth. I hope to have you guys back sometime in the future as we continue to broadcast the Dash Series every Tuesday night, starting around 9 o'clock Eastern Time. The Dash Series, again, you can log on to the best way to get in contact with the Fast Racing League to participate in this series is to go to facebook.com and search for the Fast Racing League. The Dash Series is one of the best series if you want to get started with NR 2003 racing, just because you have a fixed setup. You don't have to worry about maybe not having the knowledge of the sim, more so just working on your craft as a driver. I'd like to thank you too for coming up here. I'd like to thank all of our viewers at home, and until we see you next time, I am Joe Twansky signing out for JTN at Dover International Speedway. Thank you, everybody.